Welcome people, I'd want to tell this dramatic story of my life with you all today. I've been married for 16 years, I'm 51 years old male and my wife Monica is 49 years old female. We have two lovely girls who are 15 and 13 years old. In 16 years of our marriage Monica and I have experienced both good and bad days together. We have always prioritized our relationship over all other commitments and people. We always behaved as one team because we intended to raise our daughters in a family that was loving and peaceful. Monica never trusted me in the early years of our marriage because she constantly suspected that I was having an affair or that I would leave her. It was because she came from a broken family. Her parents were divorced, that she found it difficult to trust in the authenticity of our marriage. When she gained weight after pregnancy, she thought I would leave her because of her fat body. When we moved to a new neighborhood, she assumed I would meet a new woman there. When she gave birth to our second daughter, she believed I would marry again because Monica had not given me a son. When our girls were 3 and 5, we traveled to New York to attend my cousin's wedding. My cousin and I have been best friends since we were kids. Her father had died. And because I was both her best friend and cousin, she asked me to drive her to church on her wedding day, but when I and my cousin didn't arrive to the church on time due to traffic, Monica, my wife, made a scene and cried uncontrollably in front of the wedding guests, believing that I had fled with my cousin. It was such a humiliating experience for my family and I. She was extremely insecure, and I had to work very hard to gain her trust since I didn't want to abandon her. I abruptly lost my work at a private bank when we had been married for 8 years. It was such a difficult situation because I was also responsible for 2 children. I had a family to support, bills to pay, rent to pay, and I lost a job unexpectedly. Even though Monica was earning, but it was very minimal compared to my salary as she was working as a freelance assistant. Monica was really supportive when I returned home with the news of my sudden unemployment. She calmed me down and assured me that everything will be okay again. I expected her to become agitated. But instead she maintained her cool and gave me hope. That was a difficult time for me because I was staying at home with no job and my savings were nearly consumed. I was experiencing depression at the time, and Monica greatly assisted me. She used to prepare comfort food for me, take me for walks to clear my head, and carry the entire burden of raising children on her own. She even used her parents' inheritance funds to make investments in my business. I refused to take her money, but she insisted on me starting a business, and I finally opened my digital agency. I was so grateful to Monica for being such a wonderful support throughout my difficult period. After few years of hard work and consistency, my business had begun to grow and I was earning a good living. I returned the money Monica invested in my business. I assumed Monica would use the money to set up her own business or she would save it for our daughter's education, but to my surprise, Monica spent most of that money on cosmetic surgeries and on cosmetics. I was surprised by her changed behavior, but she didn't give any solid explanation. She just said she needed a new makeover for her confidence building and to spice up our relationship. I supported her and provided the emotional support she required. She had changed her wardrobe and added more bold dresses even for everyday wear. I was fine with everything as long as she was happy and our kids were happy. She stated that our children deserved a strong role model in their mother. When I got home from work one day, Monica was packing her stuff, and when I asked, she informed me she was traveling to Europe with her college friends. She didn't bother to inform me before booking flights or making that plan, and she expected me to adjust my calendar to accommodate her holiday dates because I was in charge of my girls and her
absence, and when I told her that she should have informed me about her trip because it was extremely difficult for me to reschedule my calendar in accordance with her plans. She started shouting at me and labeled me a bad father and how I was greedy about money and business, and even though I was a good father who always prioritized our daughters. Monica was being unjust since she wanted to go on the trip, to make things better at home. As I didn't want to create a toxic environment, I told her to go and that I would manage somehow. She left, and I had to manage my work schedule, but I was able to spend time together with my girls, and we watched movies, read books, went to McDonald's, so I was grateful for that time. And spending time with my daughters calmed me down, and I forgot about Monica's rude behavior and went to pick her up from the airport. When she returned from the trip, she was with 5 other women. Dressed short with a purple little top, and looked quite happy. She didn't look pleased to see me at the airport, but she came up to hug me nevertheless, a week after she returned from her trip. She told me we needed to go on a date. I was relieved to see her attempting to mend our relationship. We went to a sophisticated restaurant. She wore a lime green gown, and she looked simply lovely. We were pleased and enjoying each other's company. She was telling me about her vacation and making plans for our family trip when she stated she needed to talk about something important. I assumed she wanted to talk about moving to Europe or something, but she was serious. I made her feel at ease and assured her she could talk to me about anything, and after some thought, she agreed, and she confessed that during her girls' trip, she realized she might be interested in women as well. It was shocking for me. I didn't expect that. She noticed my red, serious face and acknowledged I wasn't taking this information well. It was not digestible for me, so she burst into tears and told me that she had never cheated and that it was all her desire, and that I should be open-minded because the world was changing. But I was already open-minded. And I had no problem with someone's gender or choices, but hearing such things about your partner is always shocking. But she calmed me down by saying she didn't want to explore anything and that it was just her realization about herself. Otherwise, she was content with her marriage and children. Monica promised me she would never explore this idea and would never betray me. I believed her as I didn't want to break our family, but after that night, every time I saw my wife with another lady, I became suspicious. I had begun to prefer male doctors, male teachers, and male stylists whenever we required their services. My younger daughter Sasha was struggling in maths and needed more help. So we decided to hire a private tutor for her. Monica, my wife, mentioned that she came across a female teacher on a Facebook group and wanted to interview her. But I was cautious about that because Monica's confession about attracting to women came to my mind. I lied to her that I had already interviewed someone. Despite the fact that I didn't know anyone then, I posted in to find a male teacher and hired Sir James because I didn't want to hire the female teacher Monica recommended. Sir James was kind and gentle with our daughter Sasha. He used to come in the evenings or occasionally in the afternoons. Sasha was progressing in maths and her grades were improving. I was relieved that I could trust him because Monica disliked Sir James. She said if we had recruited a female teacher she would have enjoyed having her around, but because I didn't want to bring her confession about liking women into the conversation, I told her we wanted to hire a good tutor for Sasha and that we shouldn't be concerned about anything else as long as Sasha was getting good grades. Sir James usually came to teach Sasha in my absence, but when he arrived on Sunday or any other holiday while I was home, Monica didn't even bother to bring him water or tea. I asked Sasha if Mom offered Sir James tea or coffee on a daily basis, and she said no, Mom never gave him tea or coffee, and she often didn't even come to say hello. I felt bad as Sir James was a respected man and he deserved to be treated with respect, and our house was 30-minute drive from his house, so it was against a basic etiquette not to offer tea or water to someone who is coming to your house after a drive. I spoke with Monica about it and instructed her to treat him nicely as a guest. She didn't object and said okay. 1 month later, my girls were planning a surprise for Mother's Day, and since they couldn't involve their mother, they were including me in the planning and taking my help in ordering gifts. Monica had no idea we were planning a small Mother's Day dinner surprise for her. But we had invited Monica's mother and my mother as well, every year. My daughters just gave her some gifts, but this year they wanted to throw a small dinner party as they were growing up and taking Mother's Day and Father's Day more seriously, but Monica had no idea about the dinner party. My eldest daughter contacted me on Mother's Day and requested me to pick her favorite cake and assist her with wrapping gifts. I assured her I'd wrap the gifts and pick the cake, and she didn't have to worry about anything. My daughter informed me that she sent Monica to the mall so that she could begin decorating the house in her absence. I praised my daughter on her smart move and then went to get the cake. I planned to get the cake from an extravagant cafe, so I parked my car in front of it. It was around noon, so there weren't many cars in the parking lot. I was going to exit my car when I noticed Sir James' car, and I was about to go say hello when I noticed the shadow of a woman with him and they were busy. I laughed and thought how bizarre it was to be in a car with some woman in a parking lot of a random cafe at this time of afternoon. I didn't want to embarrass him. So I stayed in my car since if I walked outside, he would see me and he would feel intruded or embarrassed. I was sitting in my car when that woman turned around. And I was surprised to find that it was none other than my wife, Monica, with Sir James. That shock made me unable to move for a few seconds. But I regained my composure and began taking photographs and videos of them. They were so busy with each other that they didn't notice me. They took their takeout coffees and drove away after a few minutes. I wanted to yell, scream at both of them, but I had a different plan. I ordered cake and picked it up, then went home with the printout of Monica and Sir James' pictures. I didn't want to ruin my daughter's dinner party plans, so I assisted them with decor and food ordering. My daughter requested me to pack the gifts for her mother. And as I was wrapping gifts for Monica, I included printouts of pictures I took of Sir James and Monica, knowing she would unwrap the gifts in front of everyone. My mother and mother-in-law arrived. Monica returned in the evening, and my daughters asked her to get ready for the dinner. Monica was delighted. She was dressed in a light blue gown with silver earrings. She was looking so gorgeous and innocent, yet I was feeling angry at the sight of her. I appeared to be normal, but my heart was broken. Everyone else was joyful, and we were enjoying a meal, and my children gave a brief speech in celebration of Mother's Day. Monica hugged them and thanked me for arranging everything. After that she cut cake and everyone presented her gifts. Monica thanked them. But my girls insisted on opening the gifts since they were excited because they had picked those gifts all by themselves. Monica was opening the presents while my daughters sat around her, and my mother and her mother assisted her in unwrapping the gifts, and when they opened the gift wrapping, everyone was surprised to see the printouts of Monica and Sir James' photos. My daughters asked her, "Is that you, Mom?" My mother couldn't believe her eyes. Monica was blushing with embarrassment and shock. She had assumed that no one would find out about her affair. Monica's mom was cursing her for causing this embarrassment. I didn't need to say anything as those photos were enough to tell the story. My daughters started crying and went to their rooms. Monica's mother called an Uber. She told Monica that she didn't deserve to have a decent husband and good daughters, and that if she got a divorce, she wouldn't be welcome in her home. My mom went upstairs to my daughter's room to console them, and then Monica and I were alone in the lounge. I didn't say anything, but Monica burst into tears. She first told me these pictures were fake, not realizing I was the one who took them, and when I told her I had seen her with Sir James, she was surprised and began pleading with me for forgiveness. I urged her to stop manipulating me and to leave our house. Update: I had begun the divorce procedure, and Monica continues pleading with me for forgiveness. Our daughters are living with me and Monica is living with her friends as her mother has terminated contact with her. My mother-in-law assists me in taking care of my girls. She visits every weekend to provide emotional support to my daughters and prepares home-cooked meals for us. My girls are upset about their mother's cheating, but they are still young and want me to forgive their mother, but they are not pressuring me to do so. My elder daughter understands the complexities of the situation, so she assures me she is with me and will be well with my divorce choice, but my younger daughter sometimes cries for her mother and asks me to bring her mommy back. Despite the fact that I have never prevented them from meeting their mother, but they are avoiding Monica and refuse to meet with her until I make my decision. I complained to Sir James' school with proof, and he was fired, but I'm not sure what to do with my wife because I don't want to split up my family. My divorce is not yet finalized. And Monica keeps telling me it was a one-time mistake and she blames everything on Sir James. And she keeps emotionally blackmailing me and telling me that divorce will damage our daughters because she knows my daughters are my weakness and she knows my daughters will not forgive her if I do. Not forgive her. She has lost her mother, her daughters, her husband, and her home, so she is in extreme vulnerable position, and as everyone is on my side yet they want us to patch up. I want to take my time before making a decision because I want Monica to suffer longer without her family. Given the circumstances in my tender heart, I want to forgive her, but my mind isn't ready for it. Please provide me with your thoughts on this. Should I forgive Monica for my daughter's sake? Or should I continue with the divorce proceedings? Kindly leave your suggestions in the comment sections. I am grateful for you listening to my story. I admire you all for that. Please like this story. Have a fabulous week.